Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Network YouTube channel. I'm your host, the Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about the globalist division in America is out of control. It really is, honestly, these days, dude. Obviously, for those who don't know, for the last couple of days, I talked about this. I was talking to I went back and forth with some chick that I met a bunch of years back. Now is what it is. And, this is back when we were doing 2A Sanctuary stuff here in Ohio back in 2019, 2020. We had met, and I believe it was I want to say the very beginning of 2020, so it would have been like January 2020. And, yeah, she and I kicked things off. We were having a good time and everything else like that, like just friendly conversation and stuff like that. Obviously, lockdowns happened a couple months later. And, we were just friends after. That's what it was then. Never really, I tried to get something going there is what it is, romantically, but never came to fruition anyway, but it doesn't matter. The entire point is, though, is that, like I said the other day, we got into this whole thing because she was claiming that Casey Butch, gubernatorial candidate, that obviously I've been backing for months now is what it is, was supposedly some neo-Nazi or whatever the case be, and I'm like, okay, what's your real proof of this? And she gives me a bunch of crap or whatever the case be, and said she's providing actual links to the thing is what it is. And then we got back into it back and forth a few times in the last couple of days. Now is what it is. And I left it at the thing where I should have screenshotted what I had written there, because it's basically something along the lines of, how do I put it now? It was basically about how much of a piece of crap that really is what it is there, but then also basically leading to abolishment of state government at this point because it's so corrupt is what it is there. And the thing is, my original post to her a couple of days ago, where it was, calling out Vivek's crimes and then saying hey, your worst thing with Putsch is oh, he said some fucking words or whatever the case be. You're clearly got, priorities mixed up. Here's what it is. I didn't quite say it like that, but that's, basically what it led to is what it is then. And so, yeah, I found out today that apparently she decided to unfriend me on Facebook. There's what it is. So, her loss is what I would say on that one. The fact that she was basically accusing Casey's entire voter bloc of being neo-Nazis themselves, which would include, slandering me at that point and opening herself. I think maybe that's the reason she actually deleted the whole thing, is because not only did she realize she was in the wrong, she also realized that she was opening herself to a defamation lawsuit potentially is what it is there. So she just chose to opt out of the whole thing is what it is, which is so fucking ridiculous. And it does kind of show the weak mindset in this country, honestly, but also just the continued division among different people is what it is there. And it's just sad, honestly, dude, because, this is the thing. We're both grown adults. I'm 41. She's I think almost 50, if I'm not mistaken. And, you would think, you could sit there and you could have, a meaningful conversation with someone and, a meaningful back and forth. And it's yeah, you might not agree on things or whatever the case be, but you can sit there and you can, agree to disagree is what it is, And I feel like that's the problem with so many people nowadays is they don't have that mentality anymore where they can agree to disagree is what it is, and still be friends. And I'm not going to sit there and blame Trump for it. I'm not going to sit there and blame, anybody. That's what it is there. I'm going to sit there and blame the globalists because they're the ones that are actually causing this division is what it is, because that's what they want, dude. They want everybody divided. They want the divide. And the thing is, you look at it from world history throughout the centuries, the divide and conquer strategy has always been the best strategy you can come up with. So what it is there, dude, because it is the easiest to implement of the masses. It is the easiest to get the masses to actually fall forward and go into what it is there. And it's just sad because you have people who are not understanding, dude, now is not the time to divide. Now is not the time to hand our country to third world people. Now is the time to come together and make America an actual great nation again for Americans. It's just ridiculous to sit here and have to do anything to where you have to basically have a shouting match to basically get your point across to somebody is what it is. And I talked about this with Honda and them last night about it a little bit, and they're just like, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. And then, of course, it got into the conversation about the whole like weird anti-Semitism and stuff like that going on across America now is what it is, which is not really. And like I brought up the point, it's not really the fact that it's anti-Semitism per se. It's the fact that you have, or how do they call it now? Like that was people would say like neo-Nazism or whatever the case be. What it is you have people criticizing Israel as a whole instead of criticizing the leadership in Israel, like Benjamin Netanyahu and stuff like that. And so what it leads to is it leads to this weird backlash to where any criticism of the country or the leadership in the country there basically is all like, oh, well, you're anti-Semitic. And what's crazy is then you have Netanyahu and those people who are now trying to make some bullshit like global law or something here, like throughout like Western worlds, and have it be something where like any criticism of Israel is basically like a crime now or something. And I'm like, no, pretty sure we still have freedom of speech here, bro. You can go fuck yourself on that one. So, but that being said, I'm not so sure that Casey Putsch is not trying to cost himself this governor's race, or at least governor's primary now is what it is, with the beer hall thing the other day, just because of what he named it, obviously. I mean, it is named after his name, obviously, but at the same time, like, you know, as people are quitting it now. And the thing that pisses me off the most is always, like, this is what I hate so much about our society in general, dude, is none of these people that are the ones who are, like, pushing, like, the bullshit backlash is what it is there, ever think of any other dictator besides Hitler. And I don't know if that's, like, by design, that Hitler's, like, the one that's, like, so in the forefront of everybody's minds or whatever, because it's the one being pushed so much all the time, is what it is, by the mainstream media and stuff like that, or what it is. But yeah, it's like, it seems like everything always is like, Hitler this, Hitler that, da, 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 da. And meanwhile, you have actual dictators throughout world history, specifically Mao himself, was a bigger genocider than Hitler ever was, dude. It was like 500 times the amount of people massacred by that motherfucker that were massacred by Hitler and stuff like that, dude. I believe Stalin had a bigger body count than Hitler, if I'm not mistaken. So, and like Lenin and people like that's what it is too. I know the Khmer Rouge was less. Pol Pot and then people like that were, Pol Pot and his Khmer Rouge did like less, but they did a lot bigger. Then, you know, of course, you have Rwandan genocide. You also have, I forget exactly who was behind the Rwandan genocide. It was a bunch of, I believe it was like some like crazy black dude who was like pro-Islam or something, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, you had the Armenian genocide that was done by Young Turks and stuff like that, which is ironic given the fact that you had Sean Huger then name his media company after the people that were behind the Armenian genocide. So, yeah, kind of shows where his ass is at, which makes sense. I mean, his cousin is Hassan Piker, for God's sakes. Hassan is an anti-American piece of shit, pro-Islam motherfucker. So, I think people need to realize, dude, like, Islam is the biggest threat in America right now, legitimately. So, like, why are you dividing us? Specifically, like, why are white people dividing each other is what it seems like anymore, dude. And it's just ridiculous. This is what it is. And it's really sad, honestly, when it's said and done, you know, and it just really saddens me in general. But yeah, apparently it's gotten so bad given, what's I gonna say here now? Yeah, the stuff with Casey has gotten now to the point where he was supposed to be doing a town hall event there in some place in Columbus. I think it was like a French restaurant or something like that now. I don't know why my freaking video seems to be going in and out now. I'm probably a storm is my guess, honestly. There's been storms all day. So, but yeah, apparently Casey is now having to do a secret event now because of the most recent event that was supposed to be happening Friday there in Columbus being canceled over so-called pro-Nazi remarks. Yeah, it says, candidate for Ohio Governor Casey Putsch is now hosting a rally at a, quote, secret location after a local restaurant said they would no longer host him due to his, quote, unquote, pro-Nazi remarks, which is very interesting when you actually look at what was said. Here's what it is. I don't even know how to pronounce this family's name. Something with a ski at the end. So they're probably Polish is my guess, honestly. Because usually that's the thing, like going back to history. Even in my family, my mother's maiden name was a ski. So, and yeah, that was a lot of like the Polish people back in them days that had those kind of names as it is there. So apparently they own the Oh, that's the people in La Champlain. Okay, I know where that place is at now. Or at least, I don't know if that's the exact place. But there's going to be a couple locations there, actually. I've been to one of their locations before. It wasn't that great. And obviously, the shit there that they actually have there for food was way overpriced. It was like, they had like little, what do you call it? Like little dessert things like that. They're like little round, like, it's like a strawberry cake thing or whatever the case be. And it was like $10 for that thing or something like that. It was ridiculously overpriced. And yeah, my sister took me there one time for breakfast, and even the breakfast was like, it's like a la carte crap, whatever the case be. So instead of it being like maybe $5, $10, it was like 15 or something like that. So, but anyway, which was set to host a Putsch campaign event Friday night. On Wednesday, which would be today, Hamler released a statement stating that they no longer will host Putsch upon discovering he expressed, quote, pro-Nazi opinions and beliefs, and then claimed, we unequivocally denounce those who express pro-Nazi beliefs and opinions and will not host individuals who are at odds with our stance. So what's your stance? Just being a bitch? So I also love how they say these things, but they never actually like say what the actual terms he was saying was what it is there. It's like, quote, after discovering opinions, after, yeah, there you go. I said in the statements, after discovering opinions, Casey Putsch, a Canadian running for hot governor, has made regarding Hitler, Nazis, and Holocaust, we will not host him at a recently announced event at our business, says Putsch, a Republican. Not immediately replied to requests for comments, but posted on social media that he would now host an event at a secret location. Putsch said attendees should now meet at the Goodell Park, which is in downtown Columbus there, before driving to a second location for the rally, which apparently is happening because I looked at his Facebook Putsch for governor things a couple hours ago is what it was. And he posted something on there that said it was going to be 6:30 sharp is when they're going to meet or be at the park there to then go to a second location for the actual event is what it is there. So it'll be interesting to see if that anyway actually showed that or not is what it is there. But yeah, as Casey said here, he said, due to extreme harassment from the left and Vivek shills, Casey has decided to relocate the event to protest the French restaurant owners. Putsch posted on social media. It says Putsch received backlash after referring to a campaign event at a brewery as the Beer Hall Rally. Putsch also began promoting his German heritage, telling supporters he would buy them a beer if they, quote, roll up in their favorite German car when promoting the Beer Hall Rally. Dude, like, do people not understand trolling? Like that's the thing. Like, do you not understand what trolls are, dude? Like, that's what this dude's doing. He's fucking trolling you, you morons. Like, Jesus Christ, you're all falling for it, dude. God, this is why I hate fucking politics so much as what it is anymore, dude. So the event title was flagged by many in tandem with his last name as the Beer Hall Putsch is a historical event where Hitler first tried to seize control of Germany. Many claim their promotional event was a dog whistle, but not for Nazism. See, and this is what I'm saying. This is the low IQ shit right here from the mainstream media and the goddamn left and retarded right at this point, dude. And it really is like I said, like during that Smirnoff epiphany I had about a month and a half, 2 months ago now is what it is, where I was drinking that Smirnoff tall boy. I said then, I was like, when you start looking into what our government is currently, it is nothing but just the left at this point, dude. It's Democrats that claim to be the right that are just 90s Democrats. And then you have the actual Democrat Party that is 2026. Here's what it is, which makes logical sense when you start to go and look at stuff like what we saw recently today, which was you had a vote in the U.S. House to push bullshit temporary protection status. The whole point of temporary protection status is only lasting like a year or two is what it is, dude. Because you're fine to leave back after that's what it is there. Which I'm just gonna say it like it is, bro. Like, we should have never had any of these people, whether it be Haitians, whether it be Somalis, whatever the case be, being let into our country at all, because they're not fucking refugees. They want to destroy our nation from these out. What it is there. But yeah, this afternoon it was that piece of shit Ariana Presley who was pushing for this stuff. Which I want to point out this whole thing before we go into the detail of this whole deal is what it is. The entire reason the Democrats want to give this 3-year extension for TPS is what it is there, dude, is because they are trying to literally create more congressional seats for the 2030 census, people. Like, wake the fuck up. This is a ploy by Democrat Party to seize power in 2030 is what it is. Literally. But yeah, it was 6 rhinos joined Democrats to advance Presley's bill to give Haitians in the U.S. temporary protection status for 3 more years. Measure passed 219 to 209 and now moves to a final House vote tomorrow. Every single one of these 219 needs to be arrested for high treason at this point, dude. I'm just gonna say like it is. Like, enough is enough of this shit, dude. And as I've said before, like, honestly, the best thing that happened to our country right now is we just had no governments, is what it is, dude. Like, or very little government is what it is then. Like, it would basically be something where, like, the entire current government system would be gone for, like, a week, is what it is. And then within that week, we would have, like, a reshuffling of stuff. And there would be, like, a literal temporary government that would last for about a month or so, give or take. Like, it would be like a literal sign thing. At that point, it would be like, hey, this is just for like 30 days before we actually have like a new government being brought in through voting and stuff like that's what it is there. So, but yeah, people need to wake the fuck up and realize this is all about replacement, dude. It's specifically about replacing the white race is what it is. I don't want to say it like it fucking is right now, is what it is, bro. So, going back to the thing here about Putsch and these retards claiming it was a dog whistle for Nazism. You gotta love how the left is always like, oh, it's all dog whistles, dog whistles, dog whistles. Are you a dog? Like, because that's what it seems like, people. You're the ones always saying that shit. But anyway, yeah, it says Putsch responded to the criticism with a video explaining his last name is a common name with German and European roots in English, which also means a violent attempt to overthrow a government, apparently, supposedly. At least that's what they're claiming anyway. But that being said, though, who's this, like, who even wrote this fucking article is my question. Like, does it even say? Oh, yeah, it's some bitch named Katie Millard. Of course it is, dude. Of course, it's always some bitch, honestly, dude. So, I'd love to know where she got that crap from, is what it is, though, bro. And who's to say that that wasn't changed, you know? Because that's the thing, too, right now, right? You look at definitions of things, of how people are doing definition changes and stuff like that, dude. Like, there's been so many different terms in the last, like, 10 years or so that were something else. Like, for instance, like fascism back in the day, it was any political thing, and now all of a sudden, like, it was basically rewritten to claim it's all right-wing stuff, like, since Trump basically took power there. And it's a similar shit like that's what it is, dude. It's them trying to rewrite history is what it is. And that's exactly why so many people are, you know, going back to the past and being like, no, I'm going to have, like, books that actually show what this real definition was from back in the day that were, you know, made before, like, 2000 or whatever it is there, before they started changing this shit. So, anyway, where we at now? Yeah, it says Putsch teed up video as one that would expose a family secret, then played Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley instead, a popular internet meme called Rickrolling. Yeah, because, again, like I said, dude, the guy's trolling. Like, what the fuck, dude? He also said the idea that anything related to Germany was Nazi adjacent came from low IQ idiots. Yes, it does. Family owns Washington Tallinn, so that they have roots in Poland, France, and Belgium, and have relatives who, quote, personally suffered the scourge of Nazism. Family also said that they host celebrations annually to honor American World War II vets. Quote, we acknowledge we should have more carefully researched him and his campaign before agreeing to host the event. We sincerely apologize for the oversight. Thank you for your years of support and hope to see you soon. Putsch faces Republican Vivek Ramaswamy, May 5th primary. Vivek is endorsed by the Ohio Republican Party and Donald Trump. Yeah, he's endorsed by Ohio Rhinos, is what it is, dude. He's like, let me rephrase that. Vivek is not endorsed by people. He literally bought off the Ohio Republican Party, dude, with bribes. And then dumbass Trump is fucking backing him because Trump is too fucking stupid to understand, like, hey, maybe don't back these pieces of shit that are fucking globalists. Like, I swear to God, dude, like, Trump is trying to hand this fucking midterms to Democrats at this point because, again, it makes sense when you come from a guy who's a nice Democrat, what it is there, bro. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it was bad optics for Casey to do the Putsch beer hall thing. At least this early anyway, before the primary. He should have, if he was going to do, he should have done it after, is what it is there. It was actually in the general election, is what it was. But yeah, like, that being said, he still needs to win the primary because Vivek needs to never win, is what it is, dude. So, ironically, it would be very ironic if people are like, basically fuck both of these dudes, and I'll vote for Heather Hill is what it is there. So you had Heather Hill versus Amy Acton, that's what it is. But I don't know. I don't personally think Hill stands a snowball's chance of hell winning on that one, dude. I think she's actually the candidate that would never win. I think Butch does stand a decent chance against Acton. I don't think Vivek even stands a real chance against Acton because there was actually a recent thing about the polymarket stuff coming out that basically said, like the most recent polymarket stuff, which I don't know if I really trust that or not, because I think that's just manipulative shit anyways, what it is. But they're claiming now that, like, because of Vivek potentially being a front runner there is what it is, that Democrats have a 55% chance of winning Ohio now is what it is for governorship. And I'll be like, I'll be damned if I let fucking Amy Acton come into that place, dude, because that bitch is literally why my mother is dead now. It was because of her being health director in this state, which she should have never been to begin with, that led to my mother's eventual death from the COVID shots. So, yeah, I will do everything in my power to stop her ass from ever becoming governor in this state is what it is, though, dude. So anyway, but yeah, it's all a bunch of fucking nonsense. I think we're being screwed over which way is what it is right now, dude. And, like, I really think our society's just fucked is what it is. So, well, and that's the thing. When you have the rhinos doing it too, like, that's the thing. Vivek himself, dude, the guy's a fucking Democrat. He's an Obama 2.0 is what it is. People don't even realize that. Like, that's a sad fact of the matter. Like, the man is an Obama wannabe. He is a literal globalist fuckboy who had his entire education paid for by Soros people. Like, for God's sakes, like, when you have direct ties to George Soros, maybe, I don't know, this person shouldn't be in the fucking race at all is what it is. Not to mention the fact that Vivek himself is, like, in the past couple months now, dude took over $10,000 from campaign funds for a personal trip to Puerto Rico. Like, how is that not campaign finance fraud? And, like, he kicked out of the race for that shit is what it is, dude. Not to mention the fact that he blew, like, it's like $450,000 to $500,000 from the campaign funds on his fucking jet fuel for his personal jet. Like, again, how is that not embezzling of fucking funds at that point, man? Seriously. It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm so fucking sick and tired of globalists at this point, dude, for real. Sick and tired of these billionaire class assholes thinking they can buy their fucking way into positions of power is what it is there when they should be kicked the fuck out of the races on principle alone is what it is there. So, I think many people are just waking up to the facts is what it is. That's what it is, bro. It's all left, no right. Like, that's why you have basically, like, the quote-unquote, like, extremists right now is what it is, which is just, like, the troll right is what it is. Which is people like Putsch and stuff. And then you got people like me that are just, like, real deal libertarian types that are just like, no, it's Constitution before everything else. Fuck everything else is what it is, dude. It's America first, Americans only. Fuck everybody else after that is what it is. You know, enough is enough of giving people protection status in this country. Like these fucking Haitians and stuff like that, dude, when they shouldn't even been in the first place is what it is. You want to give people, here is the real deal on that one, dude. You want to give somebody protection status for 4 to 5 years, bro? Bring over the white South Africans that are being genocided daily by black supremacists in South Africa right now. They're literally being burned alive, that are being literally they have their children being put into fucking bathtubs and covered in boiling water to peel their fucking skin off, bro. Like, if anybody never watched that Farmlands documentary that Lauren Southern did back in 2018, 8 years ago, that was happening back then, and it's still happening to this day 8 years later. When you literally have those videos coming out in the last year or so from it's like Blacks First, Land First or something like that, I think is what they call themselves, but then instead of actually doing this like a 4-letter moniker, it's like BLF or something is what they actually refer to the name as, is what it is. But yeah, you have those people literally chanting on stage, shoot to kill the Boer, kill the white farmer. And it's like, the only reason that's able to happen is because you have so much gun control in South Africa right now, dude. That's exactly what they want here in America. But they know it's never going to happen when we have two-way rights here is what it is. That's why you have these globalists trying to attack two-way rights all the time. That's why you have these Democrats doing it. That's why you have these rhinos doing it, etc. Because they want us disarmed and dead. They want it to a point where we can no longer defend ourselves versus, number one, a tyrannical government. Number two, a bunch of third world trash that they're trying to import into this fucking country is what it is, to be the replacement agenda. And that's the thing, though. I'm not even saying it's them replacing whites, dude. It's replacing everybody. It's replacing all Americans. They're trying to bring in the lowest IQ dumb motherfuckers from Central America, from South America, from Haiti, from Somalia, from other Middle Eastern countries, etc., there to be replacement people for smarter whites and smarter Asians and smarter black people and everything else like that are American citizens that have an IQ that's above 70. It's above fucking retardation is what it is there. You know, like the average IQ in America right now is like 100 plus, if I'm not mistaken. And when you import these people that have like a 68 IQ or less, like you're just trying to dumb down society is what it is, dude. You want to make idiocracy reality is what it is there. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's time for Americans to band together and be like, you know what, fuck this. Fuck these people. We kick them out of our country is what it is there. So I'm just sick of it, man. I'm sick and tired of watching the degradation of Americans at this point. I'm sick and tired of watching our birth rates go to shit because the fucking scumbag ass pieces of shit in power right now refuse to actually incentivize Americans to have families again and give us the ability to have families again by actually having decent housing we can actually afford to have, et cetera, et cetera. There's what it is. You know, like cost of living increase for jobs is another thing that should be on the docket right now is what it is, bro. And we could have all these things if it wasn't for importation of fucking H-1B visas and stuff like that and everything else like that for that matter. And that's what I've said for like more than 2 years now is what it is. If we were as a country right now, wanted to be better off right now, we would ban all immigration for the next century in this country. We would do a single mass deportation. We'd actually do two things at that point. We'd do a big ass mass deportation of all these fucking third worlders at that same time. Like, let's say there's like 50 million, 100 million even for the matter. Like third world trash would kick out at that point. We would bring back in maybe like 10 million people that actually would assimilate properly with our country is what it is there, whether it be the people that actually be genocide in South Africa, whether it be the people that, you know, actually give a damn about America and American values from, you know, let's say Taiwan would be an example of that one. Like all the Taiwanese people that are waving our flags around all the time is what it is there and love America and stuff, dude. Like we would give them a possible invite here as well as what it is. To go from China is what it is. And yeah, you would then make America a better country is what it is then. Because you'd have a 100-year moratorium, and you would have people being incentivized then to be Americans, be good for this country, and have American families. And that way we could actually raise our prices. We could actually raise our not raise our prices, raise our minimum wages and stuff like that. Raise up, not minimum wage, it would be just raising up wages across the board, because you'd have people that would actually be able to do jobs now is what it is and get paid a living wage is what it is there. Like I saw a video, it was the other day, it was this woman who was a single mother, which she didn't really, I don't think she explained the video where the father was in the case if he was like in jail or dead or just dipped out or she had the kid or whatever it was there. But yeah, she was talking about how she works over 40 hours a week at a decent paying job, but yet cannot really afford right now to raise this kid on a one family income. And that's exactly the problem that we have right now, dude. When you go back to everything, it's by design before I was even born. Like it was back in like the 50s and 60s they were pulling this shit, dude. It's like globalist agenda back then, because you had, you know, the forced labor shit of two family incomes is what it is then, and then all of a sudden everything became two family incomes to afford it. You know, like back in the day, back in the 50s, back in the time that Trump always talked about in his first term is what it is there, wanting to go back to. You had literally one family income. You had dad working, you know, 40 hours a week, give or take, let's say. They had a decent car in the driveway, decent home. You had 3, 4, 5 kids or more, depending sometimes. And you could live on that, dude. You had mom, you know, scrimping and saving and stuff like that as a housewife. And she was able to do what she needed to do to keep the family fed and stuff like that. You know? Then fast forward to the 60s and 70s when they did the whole bullshit of like, oh, now you got to have women in the workforce too. And now you got daycare costs. And now you got fucking schools and starting to indoctrinate kids with bullshit and so forth and so on. And yeah, and people wonder like why we've gotten to a point right now in history of why it's so fucked is what it is, dude. And it's because all these bullshit costs of things that shouldn't even exist is what it is there. So funny that you bring that up, because I was remembering I was watching something the other day and I forget, I don't know if it was Nightmare Hunters podcast or something like that. Maybe it was like the last one they did on Saturday or something. And they were talking about that on there, and it was like, the one dude was like, yeah, my grandson came to me and was like, hey, tell me about the good old days. And he was like, well, back in my day. But that's the thing, right? Like, you gotta think about it, bro. I was born in 1985. Like, I came into it kind of late in the game, is what it is. But, like, even in my childhood in the 90s, like, we still had, like, that's the thing you gotta think about right there, man. Like, my mom, she raised 3 kids on basically my dad's military benefits, and then her doing, like, random, she was baking, like, cakes and stuff like that out of the house, is what it is, which obviously nowadays she'd have to have a license to do that stuff, but it's besides the point. She didn't do it all the time. Obviously, it was only for, like, people that wanted to have, like, usually, sometimes it was a wedding cake, sometimes it was, like, a birthday cake or something like that, usually. And then eventually she went to go work at local grinders. And then she did that for about, I don't know, 10 years or so until they shut down. And then it was basically, that was when Walmart was being built in the late 90s that it was there. And then, actually, I'm trying to think now. Would it have been late 90s or early 2000s? Because she was there for 19 years. She would have, yeah, I'm trying to think now. She would have, was she there during the lockdowns or not? I feel like it might have been around 2021 is when she retired. So maybe it was like 2000. Yeah, it was like early 2000s then. So it was maybe 2000, 2002, something like that. Is when she started working there. So it would have been, trying to think now, maybe like, yeah, I'm thinking maybe like 95. So maybe it was like 5 years at Grinders then, before they shut down. I don't know, she was there for a while. But yeah, she had like decent pay in their little bakery part of there. And then it was all embezzlement stuff that caused that place to shut down. And then she eventually ended up working for Wally World then for almost 2 decades. And yeah, looking back, dude, like, she should have told those people to fuck off several times. The Walton Ayers and company there, because they fucked her over so bad is what it is, dude. Well, first off, I mean, they cost her over $200,000 in overtime pay, which would have been more than enough to cover the house payment for me to keep that house is what it is then, instead of having to sell it off is what it is then. So we never had the mortgage there to begin with as it is there, so that would have just been tax-free, honestly, at that point. And then you would have had, but there was also so many other times where, like, we had get-togethers for the family and stuff like that we were never able to make because mom's like, oh, nope, sorry, got to work today, kids. Like, not going to be off until like 4 or 5. Then by the time we got, we're going to go down there and visit with people, which we did a couple times. By the time we got there, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's what it is. And everybody was basically leaving or had left already. And it was just us basically having a meal with my aunt and uncle is what it was then. And staying the night is what it was. And then in the morning we were fishing for a couple hours and then went back home is what it is then. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit, honestly, dude. And it would have been nice to have so many more family get-togethers because, I would have been able to spend more time with my uncle that's now passed. I would have been able to spend, Uncle Ralph, obviously. That's what I'm referring to. It would have been more time with Uncle Leo, who died from complications because he was one of the Vietnam vets that got exposed to Agent Orange is what it is. That killed him from cancer. So, and that was back in, I think, before 2020 even. Like 2018, 2019 is what it was there. So, yeah, just sad, dude. It's his son is now a grandfather 2 times over. They both of my second cousins, his son Keith was the missionary that I always talk about and various things. It was Keith's 2 daughters that had gotten married last year, and they both had a kid this year is what it is then. So I want to say they're both girls, but I could be wrong about that one. I know the one was a girl for sure. She apparently was pretty small because she was wasn't quite preemie, but she was a couple of months premature is what it is there. So, yeah, my aunt was like talking about you can put her in your hand basically, and she was having the, I guess the smallest diapers they make on the market when you're fitting her body is what it is right now. So, hopefully she'll be kept in an incubator for the next month or 2, be good to go, and gain a bunch of weight in that time, and then be able to be a regular baby is what it is then. So, yeah, anyway, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, the other one was supposed to have their kid too, or before Easter. I don't know if they did or not then. So, but yeah, if we had to get together at some point in the future, then they came back around, it would be them, the babies, their husbands. I'd be able to meet their babies and their husbands. Then is what it is, and just hang out and have a good time is what it is. Then they were the ones that 5 years ago, when my gun was stolen from the house that day, when those assholes kicked the back door in, what it was. It was, we were down there at the farm at the time, hanging out with them because they had come back in from Africa, is what it is, because they were over in, I want to see, Burkina Faso is where they were living at, doing missionary stuff there, is what it is, which I told them several times. I'm like, you guys just need to come back to America, dude, and just start doing missionary stuff here in America, is what it is. Because it's stupid to be overseas right now, and you got Islam trying to kill, especially white missionaries, is what it is there. So, and I know one of the daughters that had a kid here recently, she can't even go back over there anymore because it's something with her allergies. Like, it's, I don't know if it's the dirt or the dust or what it is over there in Africa, but it like messes her up real bad is what it is. So, which makes sense. I mean, you know, you think about it when you're, well, specifically when you're used to one environment growing up as a kid, and then you get shifted around to different places and stuff like that, it's really hard to acclimate is what it is there. So it could very well be that her issues were that she couldn't acclimate to like the desert heat and everything else like what it is there. So, which makes sense. I mean, how could you, man? Like, your body's not used to that. So, anyway, I'm surprised the rest of them were actually able to do that. I know my cousin caught malaria a couple times over there too, for that matter, while he was doing stuff. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just seems kind of silly to keep going back over there and helping out these people when you could easily be here in America doing missionary stuff here and helping out, you know, poor communities here in America and like Appalachia or something like that. What it is there, dude. So it's like, hey, let's, you know, get like 10K or something like that together and build a well for these people over here that need it or something, dude. But that's the crazy part too when you think about it, though, is that they'll come over here every like few years or whatever to do. It's like a missionary tour, I think is what it's called, or something. I don't know exactly what the actual term is, what it is. But that's basically what it is. Like, he'll go around different churches and be like, hey, we need to build like this, and this for these villages over there in Africa. And people are like, okay, here's some money. And then they take like, it's either like 10 or 15K back there with them for materials and stuff like that. And they can build like, I think it's like 100 or like close to, maybe like 75 or something like that, different wells down there in Africa. And I think it's because of the fact that when you look at the African landscape and stuff the way it is, you can dig a well in there and it only has to go down like 20 or 30 feet or something like that is what it is to start producing water. So if you can dig a well down like 40, 50 feet is what it is there, like, it's not going to cost all that much, and you're going to be able to basically get a bunch of water for the village for like a long time is what it is there. So versus here in America, it could be several hundred feet down before you can get to a watershed. So depending on the area, obviously. But yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous what it is, dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything like that, but like, when you look at like the aid we've given, especially to Africa in the last like 100 years or so, give or take now. I don't know, it's been quite that long, maybe more like 60 or 70 years, honestly. But just like the different aid we've given to this country or that country, and it's like, all it does is incentivize people to have more kids over there, dude, is what it is. That they can't afford to keep or feed or anything else like that. What it is there. So it's like, why are you incentivizing them to have more children instead of just being like, you know what, they've lived this way for their entire lives, for generations of their lives, or whatever the case, but they can keep living that way. You know, not our fucking problem, not our fucking, you know, as some people would say, not our circus, not our monkeys. What it is there, dude. Which, I mean, that might, you know, it might sound a little bit racy, but like, it's not meant to be. It's just, you know, it is a terminology that's been used back in the day. I'm not sure where the origins come from, honestly. I know it's something Hannes in the past to me is what it is. So, but yeah, it's whatever. So, but that being said, it's just ridiculous. That's what it is, dude. Like, we need to worry about America first, is what it is, and need to be helping out poor Americans, is what it is, man. Before we help out anybody else for that matter. Like, there shouldn't even be homeless people on our streets, is what it is, because you have Americans in these houses that are going to fucking third world people that are being brought in instead. You know, it's like, I remember there was a bunch of stories here in the last couple of years now where it was veterans from like World War I or quite World War I, but like World War II and like Vietnam and stuff like that were in nursing homes and like other facilities like that's what it is. And they were literally being kicked out on the streets in these different Democrat states to give the fucking housing that they were in to these third world trash are being brought in to destroy our country is what it is, dude. So it's like, no, fuck that, dude. Like, if the housing doesn't exist, don't bring them in is what it is, bro. Like, downsize the shit out of this place is what it is there, dude. If you got these fucking Haitians that are refusing to learn English 2 to 3 years later, then kick them the fuck out of them. They're never going to assimilate anyways, what it is, bro. Seriously. Like, you don't keep them here for some 20-30 census bullshit is what it is for Democrat Party to gain more power is what it is, people. Like, you're fucking retarded, and it makes me wonder who the goddamn 6 runners were that voted with that bullshit for Presley's crap today is what it is. So, in fact, I'm going to go look up Breitbart right now and see if I can find the list of these goddamn truths what it is, dude. And that's what I've said before, dude. What every single fucking incumbent there is what it is, bro. Well, that is interesting. Apparently, according to the ATF, the bullet jacket from a .30 caliber round was found in Charlie Kirk's autopsy. Jacket fragments shared class characteristics with Tyler Robinson's rifle, which I can't remember if that was a .30-06 that he supposedly used or what it was. But yeah, that would be consistent. That's what it is. And that's what I'm saying. The people that were like, oh, the bullet, because I remember there was one recently where they were like, oh, the bullet fragment they found wasn't enough to do whatever there's what it is. And it's like, you're just dumb. Of course, it's a fragment of a bullet. It's not going to match up with a full round, you morons. Like, you'd have to have, like, other stuff is what it is there. So, yeah, anyway, let's keep checking on some stuff there. We got blue on blue. Left-wing Dems take gloves off and fight against billionaire Tom Steyer. That's the guy that's running for governor of California right now. Oh, yeah, I forgot today is tax day. POTUS's tax cuts, like no tax on tips, home run for working class. Of course, it's not really a no tax on tips. It's a no tax for like the first, I think it was $10,000 or something like that, and then you can fuck over after. That's what it is. Then we got Iran using Chinese satellites to target U.S. bases. Iran executes executions hit 3-decade high. GD Vance's task force spends over 400 California hospice businesses for alleged fraud, as it should. Which, somebody was talking about that recently, actually. It was like $137 billion in just the Medicaid fraud that they found in California. And when you equate that to nationwide, potentially, it's well over $1 trillion that are being stolen from Americans every single year. So did this dude. So, I wanted to kick all the sterile trash the fuck out of what it is, bro. Dave Chappelle is claiming GOP weaponizes trans jokes, claiming media for rage baiting. Really trying to see if there's anything on here about what you call it there. Let's see. Tlaib leads 23 Democrats demanding Trump admin remove Yemen TPS or restore Yemen TPS. Yeah, fuck that and fuck Rashad Tlaib. That's another thing, dude. Any of these fucking traitors like this fucking country here shouldn't be in power at all. Is what it is. Need to be booted the fuck out of this country with these fucking goddamn people. Is what it is, dude. Kick these fucking Yemens out. Kick these fucking Haitians out and boot these goddamn people that are the squad with them, dude. Kick fucking Rashad Tlaib to Yemen with them. Kick Ariana Presley to Haiti with the fucking Haitians that is there, et cetera, dude. Be like, you're done here, fucking stupid cunts. Let's see. Got Indiana school settles lawsuit after firing counselor over gender policy. 60-year-old cancer survivor tries to beat father time by becoming oldest college football player ever. Oh, okay, that's a pay article apparently. Doesn't say anything about the stuff for that might be tomorrow's articles or something then. So it's whatever. But it's almost quiet hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. That's what it is. I gotta make some of these still what it is too. So yeah, I think we're all just sick and tired of everything as it is right now, dude. I know I am. I'm just fucking over it all, man, for real. So I just want my country to be back to where it can be affordable for people like myself as what it is, dude. Like, is that too much to ask? You know, seriously, is it too much to ask for a 41-year-old to be able to have a family and have the ability to actually take care of that family, be a father, you know, to some kids? So anyway, that's better for today. I'll be back. I was going to go vote on Friday, but I found out today that my cousin apparently has to take his wife up to Cleveland to do some kind of shots in her back because she has a bad back, is what it is. I think she has disc issues, what it is, or something like that. They have to do. I forget exactly what kind of shots it is in her back every like couple months, is what it is. Apparently, this Friday is that day to go do that. So he's not going to be able to take me to go vote then. So I'll be probably not until the 24th then. This one will actually go vote then, is what it is, which is fine because then I can go. I can do my check for my May rent here and ship that out on the 24th, is what it is then, dude. I think it's probably like Corazon or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is. So, which I also need to call up my doctor too here tomorrow and figure out if my paperwork that he gave me back in November is still valid, and I don't think it is. So I'm going to have to send another thing over to the hospital there so I can get that done in the next week or two, is what it is then. So I hope I'll kill two birds with one stone on that one and be able to go vote and then go to the hospital and get my kneecap x-rayed, then is what it is. And figure out if they can do something about the kneecap there, is what it is. If it's just degenerating because of wear and tear, or if it's due to wear and tear plus my fall on it back in when I was living down in Columbus back in 2010. So, but yeah, it's just getting worse and worse every day now. And it sucks too, because like even I was trying to sleep in my bedroom this afternoon, and of course I had some dickhead wake me up out of nowhere because he was fucking banging on my door and then ringing my doorbell. I think it was some jackass they have. I was talking to the neighbor guy. Clint lives over there in A, and he was talking about how apparently every so often they'll have people come down from it's either Akron or Youngstown for some company that's like, I don't know if it's an electric company or a water company or what it is, but they're trying to get you to like sign on to their bullshit, what it is there. And I'd forgotten to put my no solicitation sign in my window, is what it was. Last week is what it was when it finally came in. And yeah, it wasn't up. And if it happened, I don't know if he would have knocked still or not, but literally after I get woken up and have to go check the stuff, I end up putting it up there. That's what it is, and having it stuck up there right now. So I think they can stick in the one window pane, which I'm going to take it out here in a couple minutes, actually, since it's after dark right now. So there's no need to have it up there right now, is what it is. But I'll just put it up again in the morning, is what it is after the, I got my medication coming in tomorrow morning. So I will have that not there for that whole thing. So anyway, but yeah, it's just annoying, dude. Like when you're trying to take an afternoon, late evening nap, you got some dickhead banging on your door for no reason. So I was telling my sister, I was like, they should really make a law where it's like 9 to 5 for solicitation or something like that. And she was like, well, wouldn't people all be at work at that time? And I was like, that's kind of the point though, right? So, because it is fucking weird to have somebody like randomly, like that's again, it'll be one thing if it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but when you're banging on my door at like 6:30, 6:45 at night, dude, like, first of all, you're disturbing me anyway, number one. Number two, if you're not like the maintenance guy or whatever the case be coming around, like, I assume you're just creeping around is what it is there. But yeah, I don't know, just fucking annoying either way. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna start I think what I may end up doing is I'm gonna probably take some electrical tape right now and take a couple of pieces of that, and then take the sign that I have right now is what it is, and put some tape on the back of it, and then just tape it into the places that it is there. So when I actually leave as well, it can just be up there is what it is then, and it won't be something where it'll just fall out as soon as I close the door behind me is what it is there. Because that's the problem right now. Like I can stick it in there, but it won't like I can basically like pop it in there, I guess I was about to say, but it won't like stick into places what it is because the way the window frame on the door is what it is there. So it would be a situation where I have to have like something holding it into places what it is then to stop it from like falling back or whatever then. So But yeah, it's just ridiculous when you have to even put up those kind of signs of what it is, dude, because people want to bother you is what it is. So anyway, but yeah, it's like a whole thing. And the thing is too, it's like the guy could like, if you're gonna ring my doorbell, dude, like it's obviously gonna be, you know, like recording you, like just be like, hey, this is whoever with whatever, like, you know, you don't gotta keep ringing the fucking bell, asshole. So because he did it like 2 or 3 times what it is, and I'm just like, bro, like just leave a fucking message on the damn blink doorbell camera is what it is, jerk off. So anyway, but yeah, that's about it for today though. I'll be back sometime Friday afternoon, maybe early morning. I'm not sure exactly what yet, with the Freedom Friday episode. We'll discuss more about what happened with things what it is then, and then we'll go from there. I'm probably just gonna wait until Saturday to do the I might just do like 2 different Slicey Boy episodes on Saturdays what it is then. As like a makeup for the last couple weeks what it is then. So we'll probably do like 2 different ones where it'll be like maybe like a 10-minute episode and then maybe like a 20-minute episode or something like that right after that then. Where one will be about folders and one will be about fixed blades what it is then. So we'll have the comparison video between the Walmart Ozark Trail orange handle and the Mossy Oak one that we got in recently. And then the other one will be about a couple of fixed blades I got that I want to discuss what it is then. So anyway, but until then, I'll see you guys on Friday, probably early afternoon is my guess, honestly. And then from there, we'll just go from there is what it is. So, and play it by ear come the weekends what it is then. So yeah, right now I'm going to go throw in my air fryer a little bit late and make something. I'm not sure what I'll do right now. Maybe I'll just do the quickest thing possible, which will just be a bunch of pizza roll things as what it is there, because they're pretty easy to make. So they won't take like 5 minutes or something like that is what it is. Versus if I was going to do anything else, it'd be probably like 20 minutes or something to get something done there is what it is. So I don't know. Those chicken nuggets I had last night weren't too bad, but they also took a little bit longer than they should have what it is. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do those and try to grab see if the apples in my fridge are still good to eat, since I haven't checked those in the last week or so. I also need to take a bunch of trash out here tomorrow too, because I realized the other day the strawberries I had in my fridge smart are not great right now. I think they're going bad, so I need to chuck those in the trash and everything else, and then just take the trash out itself so it does there. And then go grab something from my mailbox that came in the other day. So figure out what the hell's going on with that is what it is then. Do a bunch of stuff in the morning and then go from there basically. So anyway, but that actually depends on what I'm gonna do tomorrow, depending on what the weather looks like, honestly. Because if it's super rainy and shit, I might just take my trash out. Period. That's what it is then, and just go from there. And the mail can just sit in the box for another day. Is what it is then. So versus me running down and doing like a half-mile fucking walk back and forth and hurting my knee even worse than it already is right now. So, especially since my chiropractor is going to be out the last week of the month, so I'm not going to be able to do it until the first week of May at least for another adjustment there. So, but yeah, it just kind of sucks, bro. So anyway, but yeah, I will be doing a couple things though tomorrow for sure. Need to get rid of these boxes. Here's what it is. So I'll probably just go and toss those in the garbage as what it is then too. Or it might just be me just taking trash out, period. A couple trash bags out and tossing those what it is then. Just all depends. Depends on how I'm feeling right now is what it is. So anyway. But yeah, that being said, it's been fun. It's been real. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. All the good stuff. Always be caring. Always be situationally aware, especially the closer we get to 4th of July and potential Islam sleeper cell attacks that potentially could happen that day. Be ready and prepared for that shit, obviously. My biggest suggestion to everyone out there is, if you were planning on doing fireworks stuff, do not do them on the 4th of July, dude. Do not go to fireworks shows on the 4th of July, because that's probably going to be targeted, is my guess. Do not go to any kind of gathering there on that day. It's literally stay home, basically. It's my biggest suggestion to everyone. Hearing my neighbor guy yelling at somebody right now. So I know he's awake anyway, so that's good. So I can just do my food then and not have it be an issue. That's what it is. So anyway. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to go see if Nightmare Hunter's podcast is still going or not right now. Finish watching that and then go from there, basically. So I will see you guys Friday for Freedom Friday. And if there's any kind of, if anything happens with Putch's quote unquote like secret rally, there is what it is. Friday afternoon, evening, if something comes out about it, like where some shit went down or something like that, or somebody tried to attack the people that were attending it or something like that, I'll probably do a special grandstand on Saturday afternoon is what it is then. So anyway, and if it comes to that, if it comes to something where I do that, it might just be something where any Slicey Boy episode would then be on Sunday is what it is then, if I don't really feel like doing multiple streams that day is what it is. So yeah, but we'll all play that by ear right now. So, but my plan right now is to definitely do at least one knife episode this weekend is what it is then, and then have a good time doing that is what it is. So anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoy all this, and I will be back in about 36 hours, give or take, for Freedom Friday. So until later, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.